physical activity, smoking plays a very important, plays a role, not that much important, but it still plays a role because it inhibits the enzyme aromatase and increases the estrogen metabolism. Multiparity and pregnancy, OCPs, and breastfeeding. This can be the protective factors for development of endometrial cancer.
And what are the other risk factors? We've talked about risk factors.
Yeah.
There's something called familial predisposition for endometrial cancer, and can you comment on Lynch syndrome, HNPCC, what is BRC1 and all?
BRCA1 and BRCA2, ma'am, their significance in endometrial cancer development is still unclear. These are basically more responsible for, ma'am, breast cancer and other hereditary gynecological cancers. Lynch syndrome is a combined syndrome of basically, ma'am, it's hereditary non-polyposis colorectal cancer, and endometrial cancer is more associated with Lynch syndrome. But as we have seen, like the families affected with it are more prone to develop ovarian cancer than the endometrial cancer.
So what is the best part about endometrial cancer? That the patient presents early, because they present with postmenopausal bleeding. And once they present early, the endometrial cancer can be picked up at early stage and they can be effectively treated. That is the plus point about the endometrial cancer. And how do you pick up if the patient presents with endometrial cancer?
Ma'am, the
with
first
postmenopausal bleeding?
If a woman is coming to you with a postmenopausal bleeding, then first thing we have to do is a TVS, transvaginal sonography, and we have to see the endometrial thickness. As per if FIGO and ACOG, the cutoff is like 4 mm and 5 mm respectively. So we will see the endometrial thickness. If it's more than 4 mm or 5 mm, and sometimes it's given in literature that if any postmenopausal woman is coming with postmenopausal bleeding, then we have to do endometrial biopsy, and depending on the biopsy report, we will see whether it is a hyperplasia with atypia or without atypia, and according to that we will proceed for the treatment.
What is the
So
incidence?
what is the place for hysteroscopy then?
Yes, ma'am.
Hysteroscopy.
What is the
Place of hysteroscopy in postmenopausal bleeding?
Ma'am, with hysteroscopy, we visualize the inner cavity, endometrial cavity.
No, I don't want to know the procedure. I forgot. I didn't hear your name. What's your name, please?
Vasundhara.
Ma'am, Vasundhara.
Vasundhara. Vasundhara, we don't want to know the procedure of hysteroscopy. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
हम आपसे ये पूछ रहे हैं, this lady, we all agree with you when you say postmenopausal bleeding requires ultrasound followed by endometrial sampling. Okay?
Yeah.
So anything special of that sampling? Is it differential sampling? What is the place for? What is differential sampling? Can you tell us something about differential sampling, please? Earlier it was called as fractional curettage.
Yeah, ma'am. We can take samples from the different areas, from the endocervical area, then from the endometrial cavity.
So that is what is preferred, isn't it? So we
Yeah.
take an endocervical sample followed by endometrial sample, right?
Yes.
Now, my second question is, do you think there is a place for hysteroscopy?
Ma'am, with hysteroscopy, there is direct visualization of the site of lesion.
So do you think, so whoever is prompting, please answer yourself, no? Why? We can hear you. So if you would like to take this question, you can give your answer. Yes, Mrinalini.
I would think hysteroscopy would provide us with a visualization of any lesion, so we could take a directed biopsy.
So you think cases a lady who presents, if she comes to you with postmenopausal bleeding, would you want to advise hysteroscopy to her or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Then we would be sure if we see polyps or unhealthy.
All women with postmenopausal bleeding necessarily require hysteroscopy?
It would be preferable, ma'am, but again, depending on the resources and the patient's affordability, a hysteroscopy would be preferable.
If it is free of charge.
Yes, ma'am. According to the patient's affordability.
Free of charge, ma'am. I'm saying free of
If
charge.
it was free of charge, yes, ma'am. I would.
So if you find that the endometrium is 3 millimeters, right, Vasundhara?
Yes, ma'am.
So do you still want to do the sampling?
Ma'am,